Practical accounting, the better way to learn.
Hi.
Hi. We want to thank you, first of all, for selecting practical accounting. You're here, so that means you want to know more. And if you want to know more, we're going to tell you about it. Okay, so you know what you're getting. Practical accounting is not different, but better.
So it is different.
Well, it's better.
It's better. It's just plain better. How do we know it's better?
Because we know it.
How long we've been doing this, John?
We've been doing it a long time.
Like over 15 years.
Over 15 years.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of lunches that went with this, so it's a good thing. It's been tested, and we know it works because we have students who tell us it works, and we apply this in financial and managerial accounting, and we know that when you continue through the modules, you'll be able to apply the practical accounting approach to the content that you're learning in your accounting classes.
And the way it's different is, number one, it's all in Excel. Every module has its own Excel sheet with it. Okay, well, workbook with about, on average, 8 to 10. We'll have to get a better number for you.
Just
a bunch of worksheets.
There's lots of worksheets for you.
Yeah, some of them are interactive. Each module after this one, or maybe the next one, starts out with an overview of terminology. We get that out of the way right up front. We use simplified numbers like 100 minus 60 equals 40 minus 30 equals 10. So you can actually see the relationships. And we do things like the practical T, where we rearrange the accounting equation so that it actually makes sense, and debits and credits are a result, not something you have to memorize. In managerial, we have the bridge, one method, one formula, one graph. Another really unique and different and better thing that we do is that we rearrange the accounting equation to something we call the practical T. And we'll be going through this. You'll get used to this as you go along. You can find your way back and forth. But what we do is we ground you on add and subtract in the accounts, and that drives your debits and credits, makes it a whole lot easier than just about in every chapter. We start out with which ones of the 10 basic transactions is going to be covered in this chapter. We'll cover all 10 of them, usually about 2 or 3 of them. And it just makes it a whole lot easier. They're common language: buy, pay, use, make, sell, collect, borrow, lend, sell, ownership, and reward owners. If you know the 10 basic transactions and the 2 accounts that they change, you have your classifications nailed in accounting. So yeah, we're pitching you a little bit here, right, John?
Yeah, well, we want you to keep on moving with this, because listen, if you try it, you'll like it. And please, by all means, give us comments, compliments, only compliments, please, on what you think of this approach. Because one of the things we find is that there's inconsistencies in the accounting textbooks, and we find that if we clarify a lot of things so that when you see something and it comes back to you later, we're going to tell you this means the same thing, so you'll have something to draw back on.
Okay? Yeah, we say things in common English, right, and define terms that will give you the way it comes in your confusing textbook, and then we'll translate it back to like real world. We talk a lot about pizza.
Yes. Yeah. And then after this, we should go have some pizza. But right now, we're just going to connect the dots. And that's what I think we do, is we connect the dots. We bring it as a practical approach, so you can see how things relate. A lot of times you'll get one concept in one chapter, and you won't see it. And then you'll say, well, how does this fit in? We fit the whole puzzle together. And Professor Hiller does a great job with presentation and the Excel sheets that you're going to be able to print out. Okay, and you can go
get them on screen too, to save a tree.
Save a tree. You can do it the old-fashioned way also, because it's still is going to work when you use the models that we're presenting in each of these modules. So enjoy. We want you to enjoy practical accounting.
Now, each module will have a brief look inside. We're not even calling this a brief look because we've been talking to you for like 5 minutes now. So, but I'm going to give you a brief look inside here in a minute. But each module you can go, you can see what's inside each module. So we invite you to take a look at our stuff. And yeah, it's different because it's a better way to learn.
So
Let's take a look inside the Excel file with multiple sheets that comes inside this module. By the way, I'll be reviewing with you some screen tips, some tips and tricks about using Excel as we go along. So you'll be learning Excel while you're learning accounting. The first tip is that you can use control page to hold down the control key and page up and page down to navigate between the sheets, or you can just click on them. In this module, we're going to take a brief look inside. Our first thing that we're going to take a look at in the next module is how our general framework, the general practical accounting framework, where accounting is a foreign language. It's the language of business. The big rules are called principles, generally accepted accounting principles, which define standardized computations and classifications, which are called methods. The standardization makes it easier to learn because we repeat them over and over again to calculate and classify descriptions of business events called transactions, also known as journal entry, but transactions is actually the broader term. Transactions add and subtract from accounts. Accounts are like buckets where you hold similar things. And then we rearrange these accounts and total them up to create financial statements. In the next module, we'll be going over the role of accounting in society. This is unique to practical accounting. The background here is that we believe you should understand the role of the accounting profession and accounting in today's world before diving into the how in the next module. We then delve into with a little more detail and apply it to the stakeholder model, and then apply it to potential career paths. In the next module after that, we'll be doing a quick start. Hot dogs are us, where we're going to start a business. You're going to start a business and you can work along with me and build your balance sheet and your income statement as we go along. When we have an example like this, I'll be working it on screen and the key is on the next page. The next one is a critical video, and again, a unique feature of practical accounting. Nobody does it this way, but there's really good reasons to do it. And don't worry, we'll get you back to the way your book does it. But first, you'll learn it with the very practical T's, what we call it. We start out with the accounting equation. We break it up. We rearrange it. And what we have here is adds and subtracts, so you understand whether accounts are going up or down. It'll make learning accounting a lot more sensible and intuitive. Next, another unique feature of practical accounting, the 10 basic transactions. In that framework, we'll translate the complex terms into common language. If you understand the 10 basic transactions, you can nail the classifications in accounting. We'll show you how the 10 basic transactions impact the income statement, retained earnings, owner's equity statement, and balance sheet, and the statement of cash flows. We're going to show you a way to just make so much sense of the statement of cash flows. This will really, really help as you're going along. Here are your financial statements all in one page. We're condensed and we're concise and we have easy to understand and use numbers. Finally, we'll give you access to a transaction guide. Again, we'll be repeating this over and over again. It's in the practical T format. And when you enter accounts like cash and an amount, it shows you debits or credits. Then finally, for reference in English, the top 16 key accounting terms, definitions, and examples. Also for reference, the top 20 account definitions. Hope to see you all inside. Lots to do, lots to learn, and we're excited to share with you the better way to learn. All this content
And more
at practicalaccounting.com. See you there.